Okay, so the fourth part of chapter 1 is where we learn about the homeostasis. And every time we talk about the homeostasis, I make myself a little checklist. I'm going to write it on the side and I'll explain it in just a second. It just helps me make sure that I get all the parts of it. I usually write S, R, I, A, C, O, E, E, R, N, F, and P. I'll explain that in just a second. Let's go ahead and talk about homeostasis. So homeostasis is what maintains a balance. You can also say the job of the homeostasis is to keep a stable internal environment. But if something changes, it also has the ability to detect a change in the body. So, for example, we can say that the body has a normal range of an internal body temperature. It's supposed to have a normal range. Let's say, for example, let's just say it's 99.1. I don't know if that's what it is, but like just for example, if the temperature goes to 98, or if it goes to 50, it knows, it can detect. It can determine if it went too hot or too cold, if it went too high or too low, and then it knows how to bring it back to normal. How does it bring it back to normal? Through 5 steps. And that's where this checklist comes in handy. The first step is stimulus. The second is receptors. The third is control center. The fourth is effector. And the fifth R is response. Now, the stimulus, what does it mean? It just means a change or an imbalance. The receptor, like the sensory receptors, it detects the change. And think of it like, for example, like a security system for a house, right? If somebody tries to break into your house, so basically it's like a security system. Homeostasis is like a security system for your house. Someone breaks in. As soon as someone breaks in, the security alarm lets the police know that, hey, someone has broken into the house. So basically the receptors detect the change and they send a signal. So the I is basically an input signal. So it sends an input signal from or from the afferent A pathway. So from the afferent pathway, the control center, or you can say the police station, analyzes and determines. So analyzes the change and determines appropriate response. And they send an output signal from, so O for output, and E for efferent. Output signal from the efferent pathway. Okay, so if we're saying this is the house, right? Or the security system. Someone breaks in. As soon as someone breaks in, it acknowledges that, hey, someone broke in. I need to let the police station know. The police station acknowledges that, okay, someone broke into the house on Nem Street. Now let me find who's the closest cop near M Street, and let me tell them to go to the house. So the control center analyzes the change and determines the appropriate response. So they said they find out which particular police officer is closest to the house and should go there. Effector just basically provides the means to response or respond. So if I'm the chief at a station, I will call the closest police officer that's near this house, and I'll tell them, hey, there has been a robbery at that house. There seems to be 3 people. You're gonna need backup. If there is just one person, it seems like they don't need backup. They'll tell them you don't need backup. Just go. And then the 5th one is response, which just basically responds. And they respond in 2 ways. Either the negative feedback or the positive feedback. So negative feedback or positive feedback. A negative feedback is when the homeostasis does the opposite of stimulants. So for example, when the internal body temperatures goes up too high, in order for it to come back to its normal stage, negative feedback will bring it down. Positive feedback is where it supports the stimulus or signal, the change that happened. For example, if the temperature is really, really low, and if it's going up to get to its normal stage, it's going to continue to go up.